Welcome to Cabo San Lucas.
Yes, and welcome back to the series. If you have been following along,
If you are new here, we are Travels with David.
and Mark, we bring you along for weekly cruise and travel-related videos.
We do.
And in this series, we've been taking you on our adventure
All over the shop.
Yes, from Orlando to Miami, through the canal.
The Panama Canal, that is. Not just a canal.
Yes. And today you join us in Mexico,
You do. This is the first ever stop for Virgin at Cabo San Lucas.
where we're off on our Shore Things excursion.
Yes, we are tendering today. So one of the good things about booking a shore thing is we didn't have to book a tender time. We will be the first onto the tenders, onto the shore,
Yes.
and then we can get started on our tour.
Yes, we are on some sort of boat, and then we're
Yeah, the title of this one is Culinary and
Cultural
Delights of Cabo.
Yes, so come along, let's have a look at what this is all about.
As with all Shore Things excursions booked through Virgin Voyages, your first stop is your assigned meeting point, where you'll check in, get your group number, and wait to be called. Today, we're in Cabo San Lucas, which is a tender port. Rather than docking alongside a pier, Brilliant Lady stays anchored offshore, and smaller boats, which sometimes can be the ship's lifeboats, shuttle everyone back and forth between the ship and land. If you're heading ashore independently, you'll usually need to reserve a tender slot in the app if you want to disembark before 12:30, while Rockstar sailors get a little more flexibility, being able to head ashore when they please, whilst having to wait for the next tender. But because we're on an official excursion today, everything's taken care of for us. If you've never used a tender before, they can feel a little intimidating at first, especially if the sea's moving around. We definitely recommend taking seasickness tablets if you're prone to feeling unwell, and if you're a little unsteady on your feet, don't rush. The crew are brilliant and will help guide you safely on and off the boat. After making it ashore, it was time to find our group and start the day properly. The marina area was busy. There were people everywhere offering tours and souvenirs, but we were only passing through, because waiting for us was a boat ride out to one of Cabo's most iconic sites.
We hope you can hear us.
We are currently on board our adventure boat.
We are, yes. We did our usual check-in at the Red Room.
We did, yes.
We didn't have to wait too long this time, I think, because we were on an early excursion. We were some of the first to get onto the tender.
Yeah,
And
so
then
we had
in.
to tender across into Cabo.
Wasn't too bad, though. They had all the windows open. There was a nice breeze.
I couldn't film any of it because it was really busy and we were sat nowhere near like a window, so I didn't want to film people.
No. But we are here now on our boat
Yes,
by the arch.
our first stop is the famous arch.
Can you see the arch somewhere over there? You
Yes.
might not be able to.
Well, funnily enough, this morning when we looked out on the balcony, we could already see the arch from the ship.
Yeah, and I can see the ship from here.
Yes. So we needn't have come all this way.
No. There's seen some wildlife in the kind of port area, though. We saw some sea lions,
We did.
crabs,
Pelicans.
lots of pelicans.
Loads of pelicans, yes. So this tour, to be honest, I can't really remember what it is.
It's called Culture and Culinary Delights of Cabo, and it says the arch. We're going to see a sea lion colony, apparently, glass blowing, see the town,
We're gonna get
and
some
then
quesadillas.
and tequila, apparently. So this will be a fun day.
It will, yes.
Anyway, we're going to enjoy the sights. Come with us.
Gosh, it's bright.
It's very bright and very warm, but the breeze from the front of the boat is delightful.
Yeah, so we've just sailed around and got some more angles of the
Arch and the Pacific window where you can see through the rock.
Yes, I think we got some great shots as well of Brilliant Lady in the background.
We did. However, I will say, it is a very busy area,
There's a
boat-wise.
lot of excursions. So in port today, there's 3 big cruise ships.
We've got Carnival, Panorama, Norwegian, Bliss, and then us. So there's a lot of people.
Like the amount of tender boats, well, not just tender boats, but the amount of excursion little boats going out of that port this morning was crazy.
And the amount of people in port was also crazy.
It was crazy. Yes,
but it happens sometimes.
But what it's meant is that like the Arch area has been quite busy of boats, so getting a shot is difficult.
I think we managed okay there.
I think we did, yes.
I'm not sure where we're going now.
Well, we're heading back to San Lucas, is that the right way? Cabo San Lucas?
Cabo San Lucas. But then I don't know where this sea lion colony is that we're supposed to see.
We'll find out.
Stay tuned.
As it turned out, what was up next was a 20-minute coach ride to the glass factory, where we got to watch some incredibly skilled artisans at work. Unfortunately, by the time we arrived, all the seats had gone, so whilst everyone else sat comfortably around the demonstration area, we grabbed the best seats we could find, on the floor. From there, we watched as they transformed molten glass into what they described as a drunk Mexican turtle. And then, it was David's turn. With David's glassblowing career now officially underway, and all of us sweating like a glassblower's bum, it was time to leave through the gift shop. We very nearly came home with one of those drunk turtles, but there was no time for impulse purchases because our next stop was tequila tasting.
So we've been to the glass factory.
Yes, since we last left you, we went to the glass blowing factory.
Yes, I got to have a go, and who knew I was so good at blowing? I did very well, I think.
You did do very well,
I think
yeah.
I could be a professional blower.
It was very impressive to watch both David and the other people, the professionals, doing it.
Yeah, they made a drunk Mexican turtle,
Yeah, that's
but
what we
in the
watched.
space of like 2 minutes.
Yeah, really clever.
Crazy.
Yeah. And then the obligatory walk around the shop to try and make us buy stuff.
But you are
occurred.
terrified the whole time that you're going to knock something over because everything's glass. I'm like, keep my hands in.
We didn't buy anything because it will break on the way home.
It will. Yeah, there's no way we're making anything from that shop is making it back to the UK.
No.
So we left it alone.
Yes. And then from there, we have arrived at a tequila tasting.
Yes.
Neither of us are massive tequila fans.
No.
Do you want a hat?
I'm okay. I'm okay,
We can
thank you.
put it on.
Do you want to put
Put it
on a
on.
hat? Oh, they're heavy. I'll put that behind you.
Is this cultural appropriation?
I'm not sure.
Anyway.
Don't come at us in the comments.
As
We
we
were
said-
handed this by staff.
As we said, these are really heavy.
They are.
We've arrived at the tequila tasting.
I'm having to stand up so that we can be next to each other.
Yes. Neither of us are massive
ow.
tequila fans, but we're going
No.
to give it a go.
Yes, we always try things. I might have a neck issue with this hat. It's so heavy. Onwards.
Before we were trusted with actually drinking any tequila, we first had to learn the proper technique. This apparently involved sniffing it with one nostril, then the other. Why? We have absolutely no idea, but we did it anyway.
Arriba. Arriba. Abajo. Abajo. Al centro. Y para adentro. Y para adentro. Take a deep breath in. Pop the shell through your mouth. Swish. Swallow. Exhale through your mouth. Breathe in through your nose. Exhale through your mouth. Breathe in through your nose.
Correct technique learnt. There was no stopping us.
I think I like tequila now.
The tasting continued into the tequila shop. We're old hats at this sort of thing now, so we know their game. Get you drunk, then try to sell you things. So we carried on with the freebies.
Salud again.
We have this one now is the pink bottle. I don't know what it is.
It's quite cool that the lid of the bottle can be used as a shot glass.
Yes, it can. Anyway, this is shot number 4 or 5, but they're only little.
One of those numbers.
Salud.
Hello.
Ooh.
That's almost like a wine.
No, it's like
Flavour.
a whiskey.
I'm a tequila person, and I didn't know. We've been drinking it wrong this whole time. Who knew? Well, colour me surprised. I think I touched on this in the shop, but I really enjoyed that. I was
We did.
dreading tequila tasting.
We just finished there. The last shot that we did was a
It was
tequila
aged in
aged in a bourbon barrel. Bourbon barrel. Really good.
really good. And I don't like bourbon or tequila. So
Yes.
there you go. It was quite sweet. I enjoyed it a lot.
Yes. We're now heading back to the bus. I think we're now going to be into the section of the tour where we are forced to go shopping.
Yes. Will we buy anything? Probably not. Well, as we feared,
We were taken to a tourist trap shop.
and it was like, this is the only official shop of the tour. You'll get 25% off cash, 20% off card. But we got 100% off nothing because there was nothing in there that we wanted.
It was a load of tat.
Yes. I was saying, someone, you could ask, what did they sell in there? And I will answer, yes.
Yes, and now we're kind of awkwardly hanging around.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's bought anything, but I think we're waiting. There's the last couple of people still milling around in the shop, so we're waiting for them, and then we're going somewhere else.
Somewhere to walk around some more shops.
I don't know if it's more shops, or are we going to... I heard talk of
A popsicle.
popsicles, which in this heat I would welcome.
Yes, but no talk of sea lions.
No, it was advertised as Sea Lion Colony, which I don't think we're getting.
It was
So-
also advertised as a culinary and cultural delight.
But we've not had the... We're having
We
quesadilla.
are, but we've not seen much culture.
No.
Anyway, more on this later.
Did we finally get some culture next on the tour? No. Instead, we were led into a jewellery store for more tequila,
Another one.
a very brief lesson about pearls, and what felt suspiciously like another sales pitch. After that, we were rewarded with a natural fruit popsicle, and to be fair, it was delicious. The 90s pop music blasting in the background was perhaps slightly less traditional, but we still hadn't given up hope. Surely the cultural part of the Culture and Culinary Delights of Cabo tour was just around the corner on the guided tour we were about to take. In fact, here's the entire guided tour section of the day. Don't worry, it won't take long. We were marched 200 metres from the ice cream shop to a 16th century church, where we only had time for a quick picture. Including the 3-minute walk to the church, from ice cream shop to church sightseeing and being back on the coach was a total of 8 minutes. That has to hold the record for the shortest city tour ever. With a glimpse of culture ringing in our ears about as loudly as David rang that church bell, it was finally time for some traditional homemade quesadillas, and I'll let David's reaction to the talking here. And with that, our cultural adventure had come to an end, and it was back to the port, back onto the tenders, and back to Brilliant Lady.
And we're back on the ship.
And we changed.
And we've changed. So we last left you outside of the shops they were forcing us to go into against our will.
We then went to...
Oh, we went to the jewellery store. Another shop that they forced us to go into against our will.
Experience where we were very briefly shown some pearls.
And well, they explained how the pearl farming industry works when it's cultured rather than natural pearls. And then one thing I did quite like, they did a bit of a lottery with the group, and everyone picked a slip of paper out of a thing, and one of them said winner, and they opened an oyster for them, and they got to keep whatever was inside, whatever the pearl was.
Yeah, well, it's a bit of a lottery because it could have been nothing.
It could have been nothing. Well, no, I think that was a cultured one. I think they knew there was something in there, but they don't know the colour, the size. It looked like a decent-sized pearl.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. Then we had a bit of a... I felt like I was in a fever dream, if I'm honest, because we went into... A lollipop stall, a popsicle stall.
Popsicles, yeah.
They were very nice popsicles, pure
Fresh
fruit.
Yeah, I had a strawberry one and it was delicious.
I had a pineapple one, but we were stood there with our popsicles, and on the TV behind us was some 90s Euro pop.
What was the song?
Is it No Limit?
No.
There's a drone.
No.
There's a drone.
We're being filmed, doing our own filming.
There's lots of... We've seen quite a few drones, actually, on this voyage.
Yeah, I think they're getting some promo shots ready for LA.
Ready for the West Coast sailings.
Yes. Then after the popsicle fever dream, we went to a church.
We had a little,
mission.
very quick walk, and he told us some little bits and bobs.
About the church. There was a bell from 1700 and something
64.
or other. Back onto the coach. Off to the food.
Yeah, so we had our quesadilla.
At the Cabo Adventures. They've got a dolphin sanctuary. We did not go inside the dolphin sanctuary. We went to the restaurant.
Yes, and had some advertised homemade quesadillas.
They were great.
They were, and we've had better quesadillas outside of Mexico.
Yeah, they were meat-free.
Well, that's fine.
Yeah, that is fine, but they were also very bland. The beans that were with them were also extremely bland.
Yeah.
So we didn't eat it all.
No. They had two sauces. I mean, you're probably not bothered about this, but one was very spicy and one was not so spicy.
The not so spicy one was coriander, so I stayed clear.
I liked both. The end.
And then once you'd finished your food, you were kind of free to go on your way. So we headed straight back to the boat. Now, we had a very satisfying moment. Well, first of all, very scary moment, then very satisfying, where there was a gigantic queue to get into the port area, to get onto your tenders. And I was like, I'm just going to check, because this queue had kids in, and a lot of people. So I was like, I'm just going to go to the front and just have a quick look. Not to push in, just to check things out. And then I saw they'd got all the different ships that are in port on signs. The Brilliant Lady sign, there was no queue.
No queue. So
absolutely
we
no queue.
bypassed the horrendous queue that Carnival had.
Carnival and Norwegian, to be fair.
Yes, it was massive. They would have been there for hours.
Yeah, I wouldn't like to think how long they'd been there, and it was sweltering as well.
Hot, yes.
So we bypassed that and we walked straight onto a tender.
We did, yeah. We decided to sit on the roof of the tender, which we've never done before. It was lovely for the views. Obviously, it was baking hot in the sun, but that wasn't the issue. The issue was the seats were so hot.
Because of the baking sun.
That we were cooking from our bum upwards.
Yeah, I made a statement that, you know, when if you put a frog in a pot of cold water and then heat the water up, it doesn't know it's being cooked alive.
Yeah,
I think we were being cooked alive.
Our bum cheeks were basically being turned into rump steak. I think.
That's a lovely visual image for you all there. Once we got going, though, the breeze was nice.
It was fine.
I probably, if it's hot weather, I wouldn't advise going on the top deck.
No, but it is quite cool. Like, it's cool as in, it's an interesting thing to do.
Yes, but you may die.
Yes.
So, overall thoughts of the excursion? While you're thinking, we paid $100/£80.
Yeah, so for the price, fine.
Mm-hmm.
You can't. It was not expensive, so I don't suppose you can expect too much.
No.
The boat part of it was great. Like, the actual boat that we were on was huge and really, like, a really comfortable experience. Seemed a bit of a weirdly large boat for the small trip that we did.
Yeah, that's the sort of boat you would spend all day on as a large group. And there were, I would say, about 40 of us in total on this huge boat, literally just to go to the Arch, come back. So we've learnt since that the sea lion colony was by the arch.
Yeah, but
they never mentioned
they
it.
never pointed it out. So yeah, that was a bit of a disappointment, really.
Yeah, I was looking forward to seeing it. We saw some white sea lions in the sea, but I was expecting to see a whole bunch of them on the rocks.
Yeah.
But hey ho.
But kind of, so after we'd done the boat bit and then the glass blowing bit was great.
Yes.
But after we'd done those two bits, it was a bit...
Well, it was supposed to be a city tour, and it was not a city tour. It was, we're taking you to 2 shops.
Yeah,
and we're going to make you go in there and try and make you spend money.
Yeah.
Oh, the tequila tasting was good.
Oh, that was good, yeah. But we're not naive in that these excursions are, and will always be, a bit of a tourist conveyor belt, where it's a big group that moves on to the next, and then there's another group, and another group, and another group. But sometimes they're done in a way that makes it not feel like that, whereas this one was very much, we're taking you to this place, and then we will see these things.
Yeah, and it was also advertised we'd have some free time to explore.
Which we did.
We did not have.
But,
I will put that in my feedback.
But given that the title was Culinary and Cultural Highlights of Cabo...
Culinary, yes. Cultural is a bit more mixed.
Yes.
I would say.
Yes, but for £80, $100...
And we got to get off. It also meant that we skipped all the tender booking problems that you might have, because we're on a tour, so they put you on the first tenders. So that side of it was good.
Yeah.
We're full of factual information. But yes, now we are changed. We've got Extra Virgin booked tonight, but we went there not too long ago, so we're not sure if we end up there or not. But next on the agenda, we've got the Deep Blue Extras cocktail party.
Yes, up at the Athletic Club.
Yes, it runs around the same time as Richard's Rooftop. So we're going to forego Richard's tonight, try Deep Blue, and then we'll take you along for whatever happens, because we're not sure. The agenda's quite light tonight, so we'll see what happens when you do.
Okay.
Bye. And so Deep Blue Extras was a lot of fun.
It was actually, yes, that was so lovely. We were at the Athletic Club at the back of the ship. It was lovely. There was a beautiful sunset as we sailed away from Cabo.
Yes, there was a live musician playing some songs. I would say maybe just a tad too loud on the volume, because we were talking to our friends and then it was a little bit hard to hear them. But other than that, delightful.
It was the busiest Deep Blue cocktail party we've ever been to.
Yes, it was large.
There was a lot of people.
But I think that's just because the pull of these longer, more unique sailings gets a lot of the regulars on board.
It does, yes.
So that is why.
Yes.
So we didn't go to Extra Virgin in the end.
No, we went to the galley instead.
Yes. It wasn't the best.
If we're being really honest, on this pretty much whole sailing, the galley has been a bit hit and miss.
Yeah, I would say more so on the evenings. The lunch specials and things tend to be a little bit better.
You say that, but I don't know if it was a previous day I had a fried chicken, and that was a lunch special, and it was inedible. It was so dry.
Was it? Oh.
Yeah, and I don't know why. Why so dry?
But then for the lunches, like the chicken nachos and the quesadillas.
Yeah, they've been nice.
The taco place and Hot Off the Press tend to do the best, I think, with the specials.
Yeah.
But yeah, the evening, I had the chicken parm tonight, and it was like leather. It wasn't good. I didn't finish it.
The galley has been busy. Like, it's
very busy.
Very busy. So I don't know if they're struggling. I think they are batch cooking stuff a lot, like a big batches, and then they put some out. They keep some. It feels like they are keeping some on a hot lamp behind the scenes, and then keep bringing it through.
And it's drying it out. Yes.
Yeah, like it's not all freshly made. That's what it's feeling like.
Yeah, could be. And then we had a chilled night.
We did, yes. We had a fairly early one to bed, because we'd had a busy day.
We're just tired boys.
But that does bring us to the end of our video from Cabo, Mexico.
Yes, we hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, please remember, give it a thumbs up,
give it a subscribe, do all those things.
Notifications, all that good jazz.
We're currently on a sea day on our way to the next
Well, Cabo was our last stop.
Well, it was, yes. I was trying to think, what's the next destination? The end is the next destination.
LA is the next destination.
Well, we've got a couple of sea days coming up, but we'll bring you along for that in a future video.
We shall. We also want to say a huge thank you to our wanderers.
Yes, as always, thank you so much for the support. We really do appreciate it.
We do, very much. If you want to consider it, it's a nominal fee. Down below, there's a join button. You can join through there.
And you'll get your name on screen, like now.
But if you have enjoyed this video, YouTube thinks you will like this one next, or the playlist for this trip will probably be up, and if that is available, that will be here too.
Yes, we'll see you over there if you do fancy watching, but if not, we'll see you next time.
Bye.